In Shinaka town, Goronyo local government area of Sokoto state, Hajia Hassana Shinaka carries on her house chores and tends to the grains spread out in her courtyard. The millet is part of the season's harvest from her farm, and from which this portion was set aside for domestic consumption. This is a practice by many women farmers who belong to the Shinaka Women Rice Production Cluster. The cluster is made up of farmer groups. This structure has been put together to enable farmers in Sokoto and other states in Nigeria access Fadama 3 AF support, an agricultural development intervention program to poor rural farmers in Nigeria.
We have witnessed so many changes in our lives. As I speak with you, one of my sons is schooling in Ukraine because I was able to sponsor his education here in Sokoto. He later got picked in a scholarship scheme to school abroad. My other son is also actively involved in farming too on a larger scale, thanks to Fadama.
Similarly, in Arkila district of Sokoto South local government, Kabiru Muhammad Sani closes his new acquired office for the day and leaves for home. Kabiru Sani is one of the youths trained under the nationwide Fadama Graduate Unemployed Youth Scheme, Fadama Guys, by the Fadama Project. Having received the Fadama Guys training and first installment of the grant, he has since commenced rice processing activities, and he believes the sky is his limit.
I
am particularly happy and excited with the entrepreneurship training which Fadama 3 gave us. Even if I had not gotten the grant, the training will always be useful in helping me become an entrepreneur. It was free. We were trained for free, and would like to express my gratitude to the World Bank. There were 203 youth who got this training, including myself, in the graduate entrepreneurship program.
The Fadama project is an agri-development project financed by the World Bank and ADB, and it is focused on irrigation farming and agricultural diversification programs. Fadama provides financing for the diverse livelihood activities which the beneficiaries themselves identify and design with appropriate facilitation support. The first Fadama project, Fadama 1, focused exclusively on irrigation farming, while both Fadama 2 and Fadama 3 projects were more of agricultural diversification programs. The development objectives of the Fadama project is to increase the income of users of rural land and water resources on a sustainable basis by increasing their incomes. The project is to help reduce rural poverty, increase food security, and contribute to the Sustainable Development Goal (SDG).
Agriculture is key to our economic growth and social investment policies. Our administration's key strategy is to ensure that Nigeria becomes self-sufficient in the foods that we consume the most. Maize, rice, millets, fruits, poultry products, and their derivatives can all be produced at home if we put our hearts to it. Our policy is simple. We will produce what we eat.
Let me assure you that the state government will continue to work assiduously with these development partners and the federal government in order to support agricultural development in line with federal government efforts in the positioning agriculture for economic development. It is my belief that the only approach we can adopt to ensure improved living standards for our people is to achieve striking productivity enhancement in agriculture, food security, and economic affluence for our farmers. On this note, this administration will continue to provide support to our farmers through the provision of subsidized agricultural input and equipment such as fertilizer, agrochemicals, seeds, and other support services, thereby fulfilling our obligation of supporting the needs of our farmers. At this juncture, let me express appreciation of the federal government to our development partners, particularly the World Bank and the National Fadama Coordination Office, for the continued support to our state in order to achieve our development goals.
Fadama Sokoto is the joy of Sokoto. Fadama Sokoto is the pride of Sokoto. The farmers in Sokoto are the heroes of Sokoto, and Fadama Sokoto is the pillar of the farmers. Fadama Sokoto is the joy of Sokoto. Fadama Sokoto is the pride of Sokoto. The farmers in Sokoto are the heroes of Sokoto, and Fadama Sokoto is the pillar of the farmers. Fadama Sokoto is the joy of Sokoto. Fadama Sokoto is the pride of Sokoto. The farmers in Sokoto are the heroes of Sokoto, and Fadama Sokoto is the pillar of the farmers.
The people are happy, government is proud, a legacy built by Fadama Sokoto, the best in Africa, delivered its mandates. The people are happy, government is proud.
Fadama Sokoto is the joy of Sokoto. Fadama Sokoto is the pride of Sokoto. The farmers in Sokoto are the heroes of Sokoto, and Fadama Sokoto is the pillar of the farmers. Fadama Sokoto is the joy of Sokoto. Fadama Sokoto is the pride of Sokoto. The farmers in Sokoto are the heroes of Sokoto, and Fadama Sokoto is the pillar of the farmers.
Sokoto State is known by Nigerians as the seat of caliphate. Nigeria's political history can never be complete without Sokoto State. It was the headquarters of the caliphate of the famous Othman Dan Fodio. The political structure put together by Fodio made it easy for the British colonial masters to administer their rule in northern parts of what later became Nigeria. Over 80% of the Sokoto State population are rural and are agrarian. Therefore, the importance of the farmers in Sokoto State cannot be overemphasized. Before the advent of the Fadama project, the story of the Sokoto farmer was not different from that of his contemporary in other parts of Nigeria and even Africa. The challenges faced by the poor rural farmer were indeed many. But by the time the Fadama project reached its last stage, which was tagged Fadama 3 Additional Financing funded by the World Bank, the lives of the farmers in Sokoto State had changed for the better. Their yields had doubled, their ownerships of assets and infrastructure, and processes of the various production chains of rice, tomato, sorghum, and other agricultural activities established. In general, their socio-economic lives had been lifted. Also, the prospect of the sustainability of the process had been embedded. The Sokoto State Fadama project has indeed proved against all odds that sustaining the development goals of reducing rural poverty and increasing food security is achievable.
The support Fadama gave me cannot be quantified. Because of the support, for the first time in my life, I started farming all year round. Before now, I only engage in rainfall farming because I did not have the know-how for irrigation farming.
That was Mande Meidawa of Raba local government area of Sokoto State. According to him, during the first years of the Fadama intervention in 2015, he got 82 bags of rice from dry season farming and 73 bags from rainfall farming. He also got 52 bags of onions during the dry season farming. He, however, used proceeds from the sale of 20 bags of rice to buy a camel to help him transport his produce from the farm. Muhammad Sahibi of Takakumi cluster in Sokoto State said for him the positive development experienced by him and other members of his group is very evident. Before Fadama, he used to spend all of his resources on his farm with little yield of just 10 bags of rice. But today, he got about 30 bags of rice from same farm as a result of the Fadama intervention program.
Fadama is the only project that we trust because all the criteria they laid down for us. Once we follow and fulfill them, we see the result immediately, unlike other projects that just come around to deceive us.
Before the coming of this Fadama 3 in this area, we are not wisely enough to know how to go along with the farming activity.
A total of 27,641 farmers, 24,021 males, and 3,620 females were registered with the Fadama project in Sokoto State, and 27,591 were supported by the Fadama project from 2015 to 2018. Capacity building support to farmers in respect to group mobilization and sensitization, community relations, and other stakeholders on business plan development and linkage with financial institution is a key component of the Fadama project. In Sokoto State, the farmers got first-hand and effective capacity building in workshops, external trainings, and on-farm demonstrations.
One day we were on our farms when we were called to gather at a spot because the state coordinator of an agricultural project has come to Raba and requested to see all rice farmers. Immediately, the groups were organized and we were given advice on how we would conduct ourselves. We complied, and since then, Fadama has been giving us support as promised.
As a young tomato farmer in Sokoto State, Zayana Hamza says he is very happy with the new tomato farming technology, which he acquired from Fadama. Hamza and other farmers in Raba learned to breed tomatoes using the net house. The net house is one of the Fadama's on-farm demonstration to farmers in Sokoto. He is set to use it on his farm.
The technology here is something we will replicate on our farms. I got a skill I never imagined in my life. I can now describe myself as a net house tomatoes farming expert.
Experts who carried out the capacity building and trainings for the Fadama farmers in Sokoto were drawn from within the state. This include from places like consultancy firms, universities, colleges, non-governmental organizations, as well as national and international technical assistance agencies and even individual consultants.
We have never encountered any agricultural project like this in our lives. They gave us fertilizers and training on planting and harvesting techniques. Before Fadama, if we get fertilizer, we just sprinkle on our crops. But with Fadama training, we dig in between the plant and sow. This will enable all plants to benefit. Before Fadama tree, when we prepare our farmlands, we used to plant so many seeds in one hole. But with the professional from Fadama who gave us training on new techniques, we now plant one seed per hole. They also taught us to tend to crops without injuring them. We also learned fertilizer application technique.
A total of 27,591 Fadama farmers benefited from the capacity building training by service providers in Sokoto State. Information dissemination about the project and its guidelines to the farmers and the implementation of communication programs is part of the capacity building components of the Fadama project. In Sokoto, the Fadama project made effective use of information channels to ensure proper sensitization and enlightenment. Abdullahi Ibrahim of Raba local government says at first, they as farmers were skeptical.
We never thought this could happen in real life. When we heard over the radio about the Fadama program, we thought it was not true. Today we are giving testimonies. We can only praise God for everything.
Istiya Bali, a sorghum farmer and chairman of the Zumunta sorghum cluster in Kwari, narrated that when they were approached by the Fadama at the onset of the project, a lot of farmers received it with cynicism.
When Fadama came, many of our farmers were skeptical and they refused to join us because we have had terrible experiences with other agri-projects in the past, where our farmers were defrauded. Today, Fadama is a success story. They gave us improved seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, pumping machines. Before now, if we need pumping machines, we will have to join a long queue to hire one. Today, we own our own in abundance. We used to get 100 bags of sorghum from 1 hectare. Now we get up to 40 bags from a hectare.
A total of 155 radio programs and 155 television 30 minutes documentary programs were aired and are still being aired twice a week. There were also various print publications and memorabilia, including 25,000 record books, 2,300 calendars, 1,000 memo and jotters, 1,000 t-shirts and face caps were produced and distributed to farmers and other stakeholders. Similarly, 4 documentaries and 2 songs on achievements of Sokoto State Fadama 3AF project were produced and aired.
Fadama Sokoto is the joy of Sokoto. Fadama Sokoto is the pride of Sokoto.
Facilitators and community development officers in the Sokoto Fadama project were tenacious in mobilizing and helping to facilitate the preparation of business plans by participating farmers. They formed formidable foot army to which the Sokoto State Fadama farmers are most grateful. 8 project implementation unit officers and 17 facilitators were exposed to both national and international trainings to sharpen their skills and build competencies in Sokoto State.
Fadama supported each group with asset. Each group got 4 pumping machines and 5 sprayers. They also got input, 600 bags of NPK, 300 bags of urea fertilizer respectively, 7,050 kg of seedlings, 750 liters of herbicides and pesticides per group.
150 kg na seed kowane group.
We came in contact with Hajerekia, a facilitator from Fadama during political campaigns. She calls us on the mobile phone regarding any developments and in turn relay to our members. We are grateful to Fadama and their facilitators.
We used to get 10 bags from every 10 meters. Today we get up to 25 bags from seeing 10 meters of land. That is a lot of achievement.
We came to learn about Fadama through their facilitator, Hajerekia. She went to all nooks and corners of the local council area to sensitize us. They gave us processing machines, livestock. Fadama has done everything for us. Our livelihoods have improved.
A total of 2,074 business plans were prepared, developed, and approved and were implemented as follows. Rice, 1,422 prepared, approved, and implemented. Sorghum, 392 prepared, approved, and implemented. Tomato, 255 prepared, approved, and implemented. That translates to about 99.8% achievement rates within the 2015 to 2018 intervention cycle.
I can say actually we have achieved a lot in terms of trying as much as possible to achieve the set objectives. For example, with respect to the average income increase of Fadama farmers, which is a function of increase in yield in the crop value chain that we support them to produce, we have over 77% of direct beneficiaries had their average income increase by more than 40% during the project implementation period. When you look at it vis-a-vis the crop value chain that the project supported, i.e. rice, sorghum, and tomato, you can see that for rice, there is an increase in yield by at least 50%. Sorghum, we have increase in yield by at least 100%. Tomato yield has increased. The yield has increased by 44.6%, almost 45% of increase in yield, which somehow has a significant contribution to the increase in income we have discussed.
As stated earlier, the Fadama project in Sokoto State ensured adequate support to its facilitators. This support includes training and workshops on formulation of demand for advisory services and participatory implementation and supervision of such activities. The facilitators ensured that the sub-projects emanating from the Fadama clusters met minimum technical standards. Abdulmuminu Abubakar is a facilitator for Fadama project in Sokoto. It is his duty to train the farmers on technical know-hows relevant to the project. Abdulmuminu was one of the facilitators trained by a Japanese international cooperative agency and rice parboiling technique in a training workshop in the FCT, Abuja. On his return to base in Sokoto, he stepped down the training to rice farmers, and today one of the best parboiled rice in Nigeria is found in Sokoto State.
This is a process of parboiling rice. As you know, imported rice is not better than our local rice, but they have a technology that they use in processing their rice. That is what we lack here. I attended training in Gwagwalada FCT by a Japanese firm called JICA. Now this drum is used to boil hot water, and the water is used in two ways. First of all, we fill the tank. Beneath it is a stove. Once the water is boiled, the bad grains will rise to the top and we scoop them out of the water. As you know, locally we soak our rice for 2 to 3 days. But with this technology, we let the rice soak in hot water for only 8 hours. Secondly, we boil the rice locally, which makes it dark, and it also breaks the grain in the process. But with this method called the hot bottom technique, after the first soak, which we use half water in the tank, we will then put on the stove again on the second half of water. The steam gas is channeled onto the rice for about 3 hours. When the rice is ready, it will give off a particular aroma. The grain will be seen to open. Then we dry it out there. When dried, it is taken to the processing machine. This entire structure here was given to the youth cluster here by the Fadama project. We also did step-down training.
Let me express our appreciation once again to the executive governor of Sokoto State, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambua, for offering ample support to the project, as well as consistent payment of capital funds to the Sokoto State Fadama 3 National Financing Coordinating Office, and also for making sure that the sustainability of the project in Sokoto State is solidified. I need to appreciate the entire Fadama family in Sokoto State and in all the local government community, and most especially our dear ever-ready American State Project Coordinator, Dr. Mohamed Bashir Mustafa, for his commitment and dedication in managing the State Project Office, which has been rated one of the best projects in the country.
The Fadama project allows communities to identify and act on their most urgent needs for improved infrastructure. Water harvesting technique is the basic framework to which the Fadama project was anchored. The Fadama project was conceived to ensure the proper provision of small-scale irrigation through the extraction of shallow groundwater with low-cost petrol-driven pumps. By making agricultural production less dependent on erratic rainfall, farmers' incomes were expected to be raised. In Sokoto State, the infrastructure of the extraction for shallow groundwater by irrigation farmers had been laid in the 1980s by the creation of the Goronyo Dam. The dam is designed for rainy and dry season. It has a capacity of 942 million cubic meters of water in dry season and between 450 to 1.5 billion cubic meters of water at its peak in the rainy season. Its irrigation infrastructure spans to about 500 kilometers into neighboring states to Sokoto. Taking advantage of this, the Fadama project in Sokoto has provided irrigation infrastructure in the form of tube wells for the purpose of easing the struggle of the farmers in the dry season.
The releases from the dam unconventional irrigators lift water for their uses at the river bank. The recharges, the releases from the dam helps in recharging the underground reserve, that is the underground aquifers. From here up to Awuri, by so doing, the underground reserve or the aquifers are being recharged regularly throughout the year, which make it possible for Fadama users to dig shallow tube wells to extract water for unconventional irrigation.
We were given tube wells. Every promise they made, they have fulfilled. Therefore, we are most grateful.
Umar Sanda is the manager of Casa de Rua Global Ventures. He is one of the preferred borehole constructors recommended by the Fadama farmers. With over 1.5 decades of experience in his field, Sanda emphatically stated that the sincerity and commitment of the Sokoto State Fadama Coordinating Office to provide effective service delivery to the farmers is unmatched.
This is a tube well being constructed by Fadama Tree. The lives of the farmers have greatly improved with Fadama intervention. I have worked with many agricultural projects, and I will tell you that none is as sincere as Fadama Tree. This well is a huge development for us, and we are most grateful to the Fadama project. We have waited for our turn, and today it is happening.
Today, we can say without any iota of doubt that Fadama has been able to help to build on food security in this state. We charged our monitoring and evaluation team to quantify what is the contribution of this program to food security, both in the state and Nigeria at large. And I'm happy to flaunt that result, that Fadama is the #1 project in this country that is helping federal government to achieve this food security agenda.
The Fadama project is designed to ensure delivery of advisory services responsive to the needs of farmers in the area of production, processing, marketing, and supply chain management. The project in Sokoto provided to the farmers comprehensive advisory services as demanded by them.
Experts were employed by Fadama, and they came here periodically to stay with us and teach us improved farming technique from the point of seed selection to nurturing them and planting. We got so much training from this project. Before now, we plant the greens by spraying them on the soil. But now we have been taught to plant, nurture, and transplant on our farms, and it has led to bumper harvest for us. The trainers bring us chemicals to administer on plants affected by disease. But before now, we had no such knowledge. The experts taught us that our local seedling cannot give us enough yield like the improved ones. He said the new seedling can give us over 100 grains per seed planted, and we have tested this and it is true. Before now we got 30 to 40 bags of rice per hectare, but with Fadama we get over 80 bags per hectare. The expert came, gathered us and gave us advice on net house farming of tomatoes. At that time we thought we could not do it, but they encouraged us. There were about 15 of us. Slowly they guided us.
Using the matching grant arrangement, the Fadama project in Sokoto introduced new technology to the farmers through provision of farm inputs like seeds, fertilizers and agrochemicals. Alhaji Altine Muhammad is the chairman of AWNG Production Cluster. He says AWNG has 6 production groups made up of 10 farmers each. He talks on how Fadama gave them input support. He attested that this has made the farmers to enjoy double their former yield.
Fadama in Sokoto has given us 100% support. We gave 50% of the cost of input, and Fadama completed the remaining 50%. They include fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, and improved seeds. Each farmer got at least 6 bags of fertilizers, 8 liters of insecticides and herbicides, 50 kg of Faro 44 rice seedlings. They also assisted us to acquire assets, which are water pumping machines and sprayers. We have 18 pumping machines and 18 sprayers. They also provided us with tube wells. We also got raincoats, boots, and hand gloves.
When
we wanted to assess the Fadama spot, they gave us their guidelines, which we followed. When they asked us to pay 50%, farmers were afraid. There, Fadama paid the remaining 50%. Each farmer got 4 bags of fertilizers, 3 NPK and 1 urea, and 5 liters of chemicals. Fadama does not pay 100% of the support they give us. There is usually an equity contribution from us, the farmers. Until we make our contributions, we don't assess the Fadama support. Once we have the contribution in place in our bank account, we will then take the bank statement to Fadama. Once they verify, we are linked to a certified contractor to supply us with the needed support. Before now, we used to carry out our farming activities manually, but now we have machines and equipment which has helped to boost our productions. To assess Fadama's support, one must first make equity contributions. There are items you make 50% contributions and Fadama completes the remaining half. There are also instances one must make 30% contributions and Fadama makes 70%. We are grateful for their support because it has established us and we are well-grounded farmers today.
The farmers in Sokoto under the Fadama project were also able to build savings from incremental earnings to ensure continuity of the formation.
After they harvest their rice, some of them has purchased many items. Some keep the enough seed which they are going to use in this rainy season. And they have purchased, some purchased kettles, some purchased camels, and so on, to make a good arrangement to farm a lot in the rainy season time.
More than 60% of the groups that have benefited were able to save at least 103,221 million. Representing about 25% over the required 10% of the replacement value that is required to be saved by the project.
Right now, we are at a point where we can see issues like fertilizers and other inputs are not a problem because we have what we refer to as recouping. Every farmer makes a contribution of 5 bags of rice from his harvest and we gather them and keep. When it is time for another farming season, we take from these for planting. Then we sell what is left to buy inputs like fertilizers, herbicides and the rest, as well as hire tractor that will help clear the land. Right now, we have over 2 million naira in our account. Fadama trained us to do what is known as recouping. We save 5% of our harvest. Last farming season, we saved some of our harvested grains at the start of this farming season. We sold them and used it to buy fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides. We benefited greatly from this development.
They
trained us to divide our harvest. We are to save some grains and also taught to manage in general our affairs. We have indeed seen the importance of Fadama. Fadama is today the love of all farmers in Sokoto.
Out of the 2,074 production groups formed and approved by the project, 2,069 production groups had procured 5,783 water pumps, 6,911 sprayers, 41,763 small farm tools and 2,500 tomato crates. The Fadama project in Nigeria was designed to go into collaborations for sponsored researches so as to develop technical propositions on crops, livestock, and other agricultural activities. The alliance also responded to problems and constraints identified by farmers. On-farm demonstrations were conducted by the research centers in conjunction with the ADP. The main objectives of these were to test new crop varieties and management methods for crops, agroforestry, livestock, and fisheries. In Sokoto, tomato farmers were some of the visible beneficiaries of this. Improved technology was introduced in tomato farming. 10 net houses were built to farm tomatoes using the drip irrigation method. This technology was nurtured and replicated by the Seed Council of Nigeria in partnership with Fadama.
This is called Tomato Net House, a facility that enables one to farm tomatoes inside a house. It is a new technology. At first, we wondered how tomatoes can be planted indoors. We later resolved to observe the process. But I must say, Fadama is a sincere and honest project that actually helps farmers.
For the rural poor farmer in Sokoto State, one of the major challenges is access to quality seedlings. But with the intervention by Fadama, Sokoto State farmers have been experiencing bumper harvests. Faruku Malami Kiasa is the chairman of the Kiasa Rice Production Cluster. He said Fadama has turned the fortune of the Kiasa rice farmers around. Malami talks about the improved seedlings from Fadama.
Some of the benefits we got from Fadama include the fact that we are able to get ourselves this rice thresher. Furthermore, we now nurture and grow improved seeds, which we will sell to fellow farmers from neighboring communities.
The Fadama project also encourages farmers to indulge in foundation seed multiplication and its adoption. According to Faruku Malami, the Kiasa Rice Production Cluster today has gone ahead to engage in seed multiplication. He said members of his rice production community were able to acquire more plots of land from their proceeds in farming towards this. Today, the Kiasa Fadama rice farmers nurture seeds and sell to farmers from neighboring communities.
Before
Fadama, the entire farmers in Sokoto never knew what Faru 44 is. Today, Fadama has introduced us to a seedling contractor who brought this improved seed to us called Faru 44. We used to get about 30 to 40 bags from 1 hectare, but with Fadama, we farm about 70 to 80 bags per hectare. We are most grateful to our Lord and thankful to Fadama. We have acquired more farmland, so our rice field is huge. Our children now go to school, and we have also built modern houses.
The 10 units of tomato production net houses had recorded a yield of 1.5 tons in 5 months as against the standard 1.5 tons in a 6-month production period. The project office implemented 5 demonstration plots for rice with an average yield of 4.9 tons per hectare. 20 seed production groups, 10 production groups for rice and 10 for sorghum were also implemented, covering 300 smart farmers across the intervention sites. Also, the beneficiaries adopted 15 improved technologies on agronomic practices out of the 34 technologies that were demonstrated. Agricultural machinery hiring service and asset acquisition for individuals and farmer groups is a very important component of the Fadama project. The establishment of tractor hiring centers by the project is another landmark achievement in Sokoto State. Abubakar Yusuf Sokoto is the manager of the Fadama Tractor Hiring Center located at Kware, Sokoto State.
The farmers are happy. The development we are witnessing is much more than what we ever had. Preparing the land is the most difficult task for a farmer. A farmer with 10 or 20 hectares will not be able to till the land manually and in time. With this development by Fadama, the farmers are able to do much more, leading to greater harvest. Fadama is the best thing that happened to the farmers in Sokoto State in recent times.
The center was established with the collaboration of the Kware Local Government Area Council. It boasts of 3 numbers of tractors, 5 mini tractors, and launched along with 2 other aggregation centers in Goronyo and Ilela. The center has since been in operation, providing mechanization services to 2,069 production groups across the state, and in compliance with the repayment agreement of the 4 tractors supplied to Sokoto State Tractor Hiring Center. The Fadama Federation Community Association Management has fully paid all outstanding monies.
So Fadama 3 surely has contributed a lot, especially all the farming implements, all farming equipment that a farmer needs for his farming. The Fadama 3 has given that contribution to our farmers.
Apart from the fact that the Fadama project in Sokoto State helped in training the farmers to manage their finances, they also ensured the linkage of the farmers to markets to sell their produce. To aid this, 2 aggregation centers were constructed in Goronyo and Ilela local government areas and have been handed over to the Fadama Farmers Association for management and operation. Kabiru Kalambaina is a marketer of rice in Sokoto State. He said he used to find difficulty in marketing the produce due to poor know-how, but with the intervention from Fadama, his business has taken a wonderful dimension.
This is not different from foreign rice. We bag them in different kilograms. Every kilogram is sold at 250 naira. Fadama trained us bagging methods. This is 5 kg. We also have other kilograms. This is 10 kg and this is 25. We got a lot of help from Fadama. Today we are youth entrepreneurs. We are also stepping down the training to other youth.
Yusuf Al-Haji belongs to the Dankore tomato cluster in Sokoto State. He said before the Fadama intervention, he and other farmers used to travel to big cities in Nigeria for greener pastures as they only farm during the rainy season. But today, they have had to stop. Al-Haji says the technologies and know-hows brought to them by Fadama makes them busy all year round. At present, the harvest of an average of 300 baskets of tomatoes is against the 150 baskets before. He is even more elated by the fact that Fadama has linked them with off-takers who come to buy their produce directly.
Fadama has linked us with marketers who come and buy our produce off us, which is a welcome development.
A large number of off-takers from different places collect produce from the beneficiaries of the Fadama in Sokoto State. Worthy of note is that about 5 off-takers took 15,166 metric tons of paddy rice, 5,203 metric tons of sorghum, and 13,277 tons of tomatoes. To make the Fadama projects more socially inclusive in Sokoto, and also as part of its components, in Sokoto, emphasis is laid in involving women and youths in the production chain of focused produce.
Before, our farmers used to get 20 to 30 bags of rice per season, but today we farm up to 200 and 300 bags per season. Our youth have become meaningfully employed.
We are very glad that our paths cross with that of Fadama. Fadama has turned our sorrows to joy. We gave our equity contributions and the project supported us. Our families are better off, our children are happy, and we support our husbands when the need arises. We are grateful to Fadama for recognizing us, women, and providing us with a viable means of livelihood.
It is also a part of the Fadama project's mandate to ensure that vulnerable groups such as women receive a one-time grant to ensure asset base for their income-generating activities.
We are grateful to the Fadama project for recognizing the importance of women in crop value chain of production. They gave us this processing machine and we have bought 3 more. We are immensely grateful to Fadama.
127 processing groups, 66 groups for rice, 49 groups for sorghum and 12 groups for tomato. For women and youths, covering a total of 1,385 farmers, 930 males and 455 females were supported with 336 processing machines and equipment. In furtherance of this component, Fadama has launched a youth agropreneur program known as Fadama Guys to encourage youths from the ages of 18 to 35 and maximum of 40 to go into agriculture as a profession and business. In Sokoto State at present, about 226 youths and women have been trained in various agricultural enterprises of their choice. Disbursement had been done for almost all the beneficiaries.
Wannan shine kashi na biyu karkashin wannan shiri na Fadama Siri.
This is the second batch of youth screen under this program. The Fadama project placed the advert for this program in the dailies for unemployed graduates in Sokoto State. The targeted youth indicated their interest via the internet. They were selected based on stipulated criteria and screened. Today we have launched this successful process. They will be given the required training and the various agripreneurial endeavor, and they will however be given the required grant for commencement of their work in their area of training.
Training din saboda a koya musu sana'o'in.
A total number of 5,916 graduates were successfully trained by the National Office in collaboration with the World Bank on various enterprise development in livestock, crop, plantation across the first batch of 23 states in Nigeria, of which Sokoto youth and women, 243 number of them will be benefiting from this program.
I am one of the unemployed graduates who got lucky to be picked in the Fadama Guys project. We have been trained to be entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector. I chose rice production. We have got the first structure of payment and have commenced work. This includes clearing of farmland and buying of tools and equipment.
The commitment of the Sokoto state government under Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal to the Fadama project is unparalleled. With an effective and efficient structure like Fadama, the Tambuwal administration has assisted in so many ways to ensure the success of the project from 2015 to date. The pronouncement of additional tractor hiring centers and the distribution of processing equipment in the Sokoto State Continuity Initiative no doubt has brought succor to the Sokoto State rural farmer. This is apart from the counterpart fund contribution to the World Bank funding by the state government.
If we are flaunting all this achievement, the most logical, necessary question will be, how do we sustain all this? As I said, Sokoto State is the least state where we have to give concern around such issues. As I said, the state government is in the lead to ensure that farmers don't lose the tempo that has been generated in this direction. But at the national level, I can assure you, and I'm aware that the federal government, under the Federal Ministry of Agric Initiative, are already thinking beyond today about what next for this program. We are engaging both at the bank level and at the federal government level on how to scale up and do things at scale with respect to some of the achievements that we have recorded under Fadama. Don't let us forget the institution that we have built. We now have very strong farmers group. We have very formidable FCAs, what we call Farmer Community Association, which is a step higher than the groups. It's a number of groups that constitute FCA. We have a state-led, federated Fadama Community Associations. So these are strong institutions that will on its own sustain the legacy of Fadama.
In Sokoto State, a total of 38,309 jobs had been created across the intervention areas between 2015 to date. This was a result of the support farmers received for the cultivation of a total of 27,041 hectares across the value chain crop of rice, sorghum, and tomato in the 23 local government areas of Sokoto State.
The Sokoto State Fadama Tree Project was able to actually receive some awards that symbolize achievement, hard work, and diligence.
No doubt, Sokoto State Fadama Office has proven itself to be a first amongst equals, a flagship institution and a force to reckon with in the area of agricultural development. As a testimony to this, it has received recognition and awards. Prominent among these are World Bank and FGN Award for Best Fadama Participating State in Nigeria, Productivity Award for Best Performing Agency in Sokoto State, Rifan Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria Award for Best Performing Project Coordinator in Sokoto.
These achievements are quite laudable, but without the support of the World Bank, the National Project Office in Abuja, and the state government in the state, we couldn't be able to achieve this so far. So I will say we are very much appreciative and grateful to all the support that was provided to the project in the course of the implementation of the project in Sokoto State.
The Fadama project in Sokoto State has indeed shown that agriculture is the only way to go in re-evaluating and redirecting our revenue and income as a developing nation. With commitments and dedication such as have been proven by the Sokoto State Fadama project, sustaining the goal for food security and hunger eradication in Africa is achievable.
Tallafin sana'a fadama jihar Sokoto.